was fantastic. And then Stefan Fangmeyer was on Casper, and ended up working with him on Twister and Perfect Storm.
So what was the first shot you worked on The Mask, or what shots?
So
did you work on?
so I ended up doing a lot of the Jim Carrey pulling the mask off where his face comes off, or where he's like digging his fingers through the mask and trying to get it off. So I stared a lot at Jim Carrey doing a lot of weird expressions because the mask was CG on top of his face. There was a contact sheet of him making faces. I wish I had a copy of that, because you're looking at it looked like someone had gone into Mudbox and mushed around someone's face, but it was actually his face. And it was like all these different expressions. The guy, he had a lot of talent with that. That was a fun show. And
Cool.
so I kind of ended up doing effects type work, and in the mask they had these green particles that would come off when the mask would go on, and that allowed me to get better at particles. I was already doing particles back at Mr. Film with Dynamation, and then here I really got into it more, and that was great timing, because that's when Steven Spielberg sent a fax to Dennis Muren saying we want to make this movie called Twister, and we don't want to make the tornadoes with spinning socks of dust. We want to do them digitally. If you can do digitally, we'll do the movie. Otherwise, we won't. And I happened to be the particle guy at the time, and they turned to me and said, hey, you got 10 weeks. See if we can make it work. Working with Dennis Muren directly, I learned tons about, how to get detail into things and when to stop working on something and not overwork it. And, I was doing the whole tornado, and I remember him going like, well, why are you rendering the backside? All the particles in the back. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Okay. I don't need to do that. So that was great. Dan Taylor animated the tractor, and it became the famous trailer shot where the guy's driving and he turns the corner. There's a big F5 tornado, and then one of the debris comes down, crashes, and the tire goes into the window. And I wanted to get a copy of the whole shot a few years ago, and I heard it's basically lost. It's gone. Like in when ILM moved to Presidio, they got rid of a lot of backup tapes. That's kind of sad. But it's still somewhere on film. So I have to hunt it down.
Well, it exists on YouTube, but only as part of the
Trailer. Yeah, it's a very short part.
Yeah.
The fun part is the whole shot, because you can watch this tiny piece of debris eventually become a tractor. So it's fun to watch in reverse. So you pick which one of these is the tractor. And I remember, that debris was taking an hour to render when it's in the air, because it's the whole tractor. I just didn't have time to make an LOD or anything. And
Was
risk
that even
seeing
at
a
a time
pop.
of LODs?
No, but I could have, I guess, come up with something, but I was like, I'm just gonna let it run. Didn't have the time to optimize for that. But it was like, it took patience to wait for an hour for the dot, the 2 pixels.
That's really funny.